All right, so I'm going to play a quick game, and before that, do a quick update of Le Petit Puck. And I've made a couple of small changes to the the game. I guess I mean not really changes to the game, but changes to the look of the game. So a couple of times in yesterday's demo videos, I was having trouble remembering who was on the power play and who was on the penalty kill. So what I've done is I've separated this by P and S. So instead of like the VP or VSL HSL that it says before, it's going to be VPS now. I probably could have room to put visitor power play or whatever penalty kill in there like PPSH, but I don't know. It would just look a little crowded. So I decided that the VPS. So basically, if the team is on the power play, I'm just going to mark over the P, and if the team is on the penalty kill, I'm just going to mark over the S for shorthanded. I've also added, this is something that I talked about yesterday, the +2. So if for example line 1 is up against line 3, or if you have a special line against line 2 or line 3, like let's say that you've gone through all of your best lines for that period and you have to resort to using line 2 or line 3 to finish out the frame. If the other team has some unused special line shifts, they might actually load up and put a specialty line out there to just wind down the period. And so that would give them a scoring chance here if they roll a 6 at even strength. And also, this will give a team, let's say that only in the final shift of the, well, not really the final shift of the game, but only if the goalie is pulled and if the opposition is using one of their lesser lines, and if you've, again, loaded up and if you have all of your best players on the ice, you can presume if you're using a special line, it's going to be the best players on your team for that situation. Anyway, I don't actually have this edition of it printed yet, but this is what you will see what you should see if you go to my Google Drive, if you're able to go to my Google Drive, at least where I have this for what I have shared publicly there. This should be one of the things that you can see there that you should be able to see. So it looks a little different now. Oh yeah, the one other little change that I made. So I had Viz and Home. I think it's because in a previous version, I noticed I used the word incarnation too much in yesterday's videos. I don't know, at the risk, I guess, of sounding what is sacrilege or whatever. I just like the idea of like the game dies and then is reborn, like the previous edition or version of the game dies. Anyway, so in the previous incarnation of the game, there I did it again. It's a habit. In the previous version of the game, I had a lot fewer letters. Like everything was just 1 or 2 letter codes, but I decided that I can probably fit in a few full words here, like change, timeout, and pull. It's a little more crowded, but this also just makes things a little easier. So a lot of micro decisions really in making games like this. Like I don't really want to put. I feel like it would look a little too crowded if I had like line 1 up here. Plus, it would not be as it wouldn't show up as well if you're trying to mark over it. I do want the white surrounding the acronym so that if you're using a dry erase marker, it's a little easier to see up here. So that's why I did that. But yeah, these are the full words. Anyway, so yeah, but the change over here, I decided I'd go with visitor and home. Viz just didn't look right. And the reason as well, I'll mention this, the reason why I chose V instead of like visitor instead of away or road, which I also could have gone with, is because especially where this is a small game, with small print. V looks more different than H relative to, say, A and H or R and H, where the letters are a little more similarly shaped. So this was more a practical decision that I went with the V visitor instead of the A away or the R for home, just in case anyone is wondering why I might have done that, why I might have chosen that. Anyway, I'm going to play another quick game, just a moment. All right, so for what I think is the first time, and we'll call it Studio KC Kitchen Counter, this is going to be another quick game here of Le Petit Puck. Again, I've not printed yet a version with the small changes that I have made. Again, it says visitor here. Now I've changed here this and this. And also, this is a little easier to distinguish power play from shorthanded for visitor and home. But this is the epic struggle here, the eternal rivalry between visitor and home, two generic teams that are almost evenly matched, except home does have a small advantage, at least at even strength. So I guess I can sort of try to set this up proper here. And what I'm going to do with this game relative to the other couple as well is I'm going to try to divide my mind a little better and decide, I don't know, let's say that the visitor, whoever's playing with the visitor team is like a gambler. They want to gamble that they can get lucky here at even strength and put line 3 on the ice first. Home is having none of it. They're going to start line 1. And that's the first shift here, the first period. And that is a 6. So because that is a +2, the home actually will have a scoring chance. So this might not pay off, and this is a scoring chance with a plus. So a 2, 4, or 6 is a goal. That is a 5, however, so the visitor definitely got more than a little lucky there. Anyway, second shift of the period. Visitor, let's say now they're going to put line 1 on there, so this could pay off. Now they're in the plus, but just a +1, so the sixth thing that won't apply to them. This roll is a 2. That's going to be a home scoring chance, but home is in the minus now with the lesser line in the ice, so they're rolling under this column. And the 5, that is not a goal, so we're 5 minutes into the period. And a visitor now will go with line 2, so now home maybe line 3. Home's going to go with the minus. Actually, no, maybe home will go back to line 1. And they'll have another plus advantage here. Again, I'm trying to mix it up a little bit more this time. So this time it's going to be the visitor scoring chance, but because home is line 1, visitor is rolling under the minus this time. 1 rolling under the minus, and that is a 1, so we get a goal here. That's going to be the first goal here of the period, like I think in the last practice game that I played, the visitors get on the board first. So here now, Home's in a tricky position now. They don't want to play line 3, I don't think. They need a goal. I don't know if they want to burn that line right now. Home just played line 1. I'm going to try not to play. I'm not going to swear by this all the time, but ideally you don't play the same line 2 shifts in a row, although maybe there's an exception with the special line, which you can assume would have some of your top line players on it. This, by the way, I was thinking about this last night. This is like classic I think NHL Stanley Cup for Super Nintendo, and also I think some of the early, the early EA Sports NHL games where you couldn't change, really the 16-bit era hockey video games where you couldn't change defense and forwards separately. You had to just edit your lines and sort of program them in, and if you wanted to, I guess, change the defense and the forwards, maybe you had to pause and edit lines to have like different defense playing with different forwards. But again, it's a simple game, so for this one here, let's see, home line 2, and maybe visitor again. Maybe they're going to try to take full advantage now. It's been 5 and 5 so far. So the roll is a 4. Now that I've said that, of course, visitor's going to have the power play here. So visitor, they're going to put their power play unit on. I think I'll just put a P for power play and then S for shorthanded. That's what I'll do with this version of it. So rolling in the power play now for this column is the visitor, and that is a 3. They do have a power play chance here. And it's even because they have their best penalty. The home has their best penalty killers on. So I'm going to roll and look here. And that is a 1, so they don't actually score in the power play. So next shift here, visitor will go, let's say they're going to announce line 2, and so home figures now they can go line 3. It's only a -1, and that is a 1, so visitor scoring chance, and they roll in the plus, and that is a 3 rolling in the plus. That's not going to be a goal, so a couple of opportunities here missed for the visitors. They're both going to put line 1 out. 1, that's going to be another scoring chance for the visitor. This time I'm rolling in the even column, and the 4, so they just missed. So still a 1-0 hockey game. We'll assume that both teams are putting their perhaps mutually tired best skaters out for the final shift. And where the roll is a 2, home with a chance to tie here at the tail end. And with the 1, and again, that's even, so they don't actually tie. So this is a 1-0 game here after 1 period of play. So into the second period. And I guess to start off here, let's go with a visitor line 2 again. I want to be in the games yesterday, I was just basically using the same line every time. So let's say visitor line 2. So home notices that. They decide they're going to put line 1 out there this time. And with a 5, home's going to get a power play. So they manage to draw a penalty out of that. So home will put in their power play. It's their first power play of this game. Visitor puts in the shorthanded unit. And so because it's their top shorthanded unit, I'm looking here. But again, if you think, well, that's not really a power play advantage, well, it is, because there's a greater likelihood of getting a chance here for the power play team. So, and that is a 4. So visitor power play. Home has taken the penalty. In a simple game, that means essentially they've burned a shift and not scored a power play goal either. Visitor has the power play this time. And with the 3, visitor gets a power play chance to add to the lead. Again, I'm using this column. And the 4, they don't. So this is a tight, low-scoring affair here thus far. Home, I think now they're going to go with line 2, and maybe visitor with line 3. Maybe they're going to save the best for later, best for last. So with the 6, Again, because there's only an advantage of one, that's going to be what I was calling yesterday a null shift. It's just a non-event shift, basically. And so let's go now maybe home. Visitor chooses first, though. So VL1, home doesn't want to gamble, so they're going to go with line 1 as well here. It's going to be even. And that is the one that's a visitor scoring chance. Probably good that home didn't try to go with line 3 there then. And 3 or a 5 would be a goal, but they don't actually, that I didn't mean to roll that there. That won't count. Anyway, visitor line 2 now and home line 3. They're going to try to get this over with here. So with the plus here for the visitor, but this is going to be a chance for the high 4 now instead of home 4. So visitor could get a chance out of this, a little more likely. 3, so visitor does get the scoring chance and they're rolling under a plus. Where they get a 4, so 4 is a goal. Hope I didn't screw that up earlier. 4 is a goal. So late here in the second period, the visiting team has scored again to make it 2-0. And that's right, visitor has 2 shifts. Again, they're both line 1. Now, what I could do here is maybe house rule it and say that one of these line 1s is going to be the equivalent to a line 2 because the line 1 will be tired. I just made that up on the spot, but it sounds and feels right to me. So this time, visitor gets the +1, and then for the next shift, barring penalties or anything like that, then home will get the plus. So visitor here, that's a 5. So speaking of penalties, home will get the power play. So I'm actually going to say that they're going to double up here. I'm going to say home will be a +2. Because no, normally they would be even. It's again the power play. It's over here where it makes a bit of difference. You get more chances. So I'm just going to say +1, and if they get the chance, they're rolling under the plus here because the visitor is tired. So 4, however, so the visitor will actually get the power play to start period 3. A real blown opportunity there for home, and so visitor will get the power play to start. So I'm going to put P here, S here to start the third period, and 2-0 for the visitor after 2, and a 3 to start things off here. That's going to be a visitor power play chance. And again, I'm looking the even column where the 4 they don't manage to score with the man advantage. So I was thinking about changing the goalie, but it was the end of the second period, so it doesn't really make sense in a hockey game. Probably wouldn't happen either. Let's just keep it simple here in period 3. We've played it out a bit here. Let's go line 1, where the visitor gets another power play. So home's going to have to use their best shorthanded unit again. And home will get a power play this time. So home, again, we're going to, let's say 2 and 2. We'll take these. And sometimes it will get a bit wonky. But, you know, that's, yeah, it's what it is, I guess. So anyway, the home gets another power play. So maybe visitors going to put line 1 because they're scared. Home's going to dress their best players, and home will counter with line 1 because I half shifted that line 1 anyway. This is right. They each have 3 remaining. So home's going to wait on their timeout. They're not going to pull yet, and they're only down by 2. They might change just to get the bump, the bonus, but not yet. Change could be interpreted abstractly, actually. Now, that was only a +1, so they don't... oh, wait, home's in the power play, though. So that's actually going to be a shorthanded chance. They're rolling with the minus. They're shorthanded. And the 4, so they don't actually score on it. They did score a goal with a roll of a 1 earlier, but it was at even strength, and they were the minus line. So I think what home's going to do here, again, we can interpret this as changing the goalie and or they're just getting a real dressing down from the coaches at the bench. And so home's going to get a +1 here. They see that visitor's going to go with... line 2, and so home will counter with line 2 but get a +1 for this shift. Let's see, that's a visitor scoring chance though, so visitor scoring chance on the minus. They don't score. So what else can home do here? Let's see here. Visitor's going to put line 3 out there. Home can actually go line 1, so this is a chance now, home with +2. And then they're probably going to take a timeout and try to buy some time. Home with the +2 and the 6. This will be a chance for home. And they're rolling on the plus. So they get on the board. So it's a 2-1 game here late with home scoring. And so now there's 1 shift left. Home line 3 and visitor line 1. Home's going to take that timeout and buy time. I will assume in a case like this that normally both teams, this is a chance for them to both rest and ice their best players. And shift their best players. So home has taken their time out. So it's bought them a little time. That's how it works in this game. Timeout is more like time in, actually. I started to write some instructions, some rules for the game last night. And so I think that timeout, what I'm going to call it, you're just going to think of it as like a time in, basically. And I'm realizing now, just this late into the video, that I probably should have had this like over here more in the center proper. Anyway, but here it's easier to reach with my hand. So there's that. So home line 3, visitor line 1. Maybe what home's going to do, even though they've taken the timeout. They got to go with the special line. It's do or die here for the home team. So it's a timeout, but it is even because both teams rested their best players. Home's just trying to buy some time. They also have the small advantage should a 3 be rolled. And it is a 6, so it's actually going to be a null shift since they're even. So now home is rolling at a -2. There's really nothing else they can do. I mean, I guess they could pull the goalie, which would increase their chance to score, which would increase their chance. Yeah, it's going to give them a plus bump in the score. And I've never had a situation quite like this where line 3 was the only one remaining. More place testing needed. Anyway, so home will get to shoot from here because this is a -2 line. It's not as good. But visitor also has a 2 in 6 chance of getting an empty net goal. So the final shift of the game. And that is a 1, so that will be a chance here for home actually to tie it. They need a 3 or a 5 to send this into OT, where they get a 6. So it's going to be a narrow 2-1 win here for the visiting team. And that's been another game of Le Petit Puck. All right, bye for now.